going on, everybody? So I just got out of watching 1001, and the film stars Teyana Taylor as Inez, who kidnaps her son from a foster care system. Now this mother and son set out to reclaim their sense of home, identity, and stability in a rapidly changing New York City. Now I went into this movie kind of almost completely blind. The only thing I knew about this movie was that it won the grand jury prize back at the Sundance Film Festival a couple months ago, and the film is written and directed by A.V. Rockwell, and boy does she give a very knockout debut. This movie was absolutely flooring. Going into this movie as somebody that didn't know anything about this movie, didn't know who stars in it, didn't know really what the story was, it was just something that I didn't know if it was going to gravitate towards me. The film stars Teyana Taylor, and I don't know anything about her. I did a quick research on her, and it looks like she only appeared in music videos. Not sure if she's a singer as well, but she delivered a fantastic performance as her acting debut, and she absolutely knocked it out of the park. There were so many moments in this movie that really grabbed you by the heart and just showed it to you. This film takes place in the 90s, and then we move on into the early 2000s. And everybody in this movie did a wonderful job of bringing their performance to life. We have three actors here that play Terry at each moment in their life. Aaron Kinsley Adetola plays Terry at 6 years old. Avon Courtney plays Terry at 13. And Josiah Cross plays Terry at 17. And even though each one of them brought something new and unique to this character at each point of his life, the one that really stood out to me was Josiah Cross, who plays Terry at 17. He was absolutely fantastic in this movie, and you feel for these characters, you feel the situation that they're in. But when it comes down to the emotions of this movie, what A.V. Rockwell does very well is get the best performance out of her actors, and they absolutely knock it out of the park every single time that they're on screen. There are things in this movie that kind of have a slow pace moving to what's going on, but there were elements that really reflected things that happened between me and my mom when I was growing up and the things that we had to go through. This movie was a movie that I didn't think was going to grab me the way that it did, but there were so many emotions in this movie that really grabs your attention. There are sweet and tender moments between everybody in this movie, and they all have great chemistry for one another. This one was something that I was not expecting to enjoy or like as much as I did, but seeing how this movie won the grand prize at the Sundance Film Festival, I wouldn't say that this movie is a bit of an Oscar contender just yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if come Oscar seasons there is some consideration for Teyana Taylor for Best Actress, because she absolutely surprised me in this movie. Coming from somebody that doesn't really know her work of art, doesn't really know anything about her, what she was able to do and go to the places that she had to go to, it really brought out all the emotions that you needed to bring out in this character, and she played it to a T. A.V. Rockwell is definitely somebody that you want to keep your eye on, because after this movie, I feel like she's going to be having a little bit more exposure in the industry. Teyana Taylor, I hope she gets a lot more acting roles, and Josiah Cross, because I think those three right there were absolutely wonderful, spectacular, and they did everything that they possibly could to make this movie what this movie is. This movie is absolutely soul-crushing. It's beautifully written, beautifully directed. The cinematography and the music in this movie really grab your attention, and it really does make you feel like you're in New York in the early 2000s. But overall, I'm going to go ahead and give 1001 at 8.5 out of 10. This movie was absolutely devastating and soul-crushing. There were a lot of moments where it was hard for me to see, because those are things that I actually dealt with growing up, and just the relationship between mother and son in this movie from each stage of life, it was just devastating. It was heart-crushing. It is a bit of a slow-pacing movie from time to time, but there was not a single moment where it didn't grab my attention. It grabbed my attention from beginning to end. You felt for these characters, and it was just one that really absolutely surprised me. But those are my thoughts on 1001. This film comes out wide this Friday. Do you guys know anything about this movie? If you are one of the lucky people that got a chance to check it out at Sundance, go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comments below. But until next time, I'll catch you guys on the flip side.